And hello, everyone. I'm Dan Lutz, and I'm here on the front lines, all alone, all by my lonesome. No tank, and not even a Lisa. Well, I was informed by Lisa that Tank was not able to be on. I have no idea the reason why. When I saw the message, I tried to call Lisa. I was not able to reach Lisa, so I do not know. I do know yesterday it was sounding like good things were about to happen, so I can only imagine that that might have something to do with it, but I do not know. But I'm going to continue on. Anyway, we have things to discuss. But I thought maybe what might be a good idea also, why don't I go ahead and I'll put out the link into the YouTube chat room. If I do that, then I'd have to give you the password, and I don't have the authority to give you the password. So I was going to invite you on. Okay, then it is all my lonesome except for those in the chat room, but that's okay. So let me first thank everyone for all of your support that you've given us in building up this broadcast for the front lines. We've been, this is number 258. We're been moving this ball along the lines of the front lines and just carrying it one step at a time, and we're making it happen. So many good things have happened, and we're very happy where things are going. There's things that I wish that I could relay to you about, further confirmations of things that I know that are happening, but in general, like on the banking front of money transfers and things like that nature that are large in scale, moving from place to place. But it really doesn't matter because these are just details. We've had a lot of those kind of details coming out in the GCR. Sometimes I feel like I'm still doing a GCR type of situation because it's tomorrow. Sometimes things are tomorrow, but there is a tomorrow game that we don't want to play. I'm not waiting. That I haven't been waiting. Even when the GCR was moving forward, I was full speed into trying to create an abundance-based world. My efforts in TPC Coin and Gringo Coin were all about creating another economy, right? One that was not under this debt-based system. Now, setting aside for a moment that cryptocurrency is not on the favorable list of Tank and the trust, because the reason Bitcoin was developed was really, if you look at it, to go around the trust, right? They had no access to the assets, so what were they going to do? All the gold was tied up. So what could they do, right? Well, they needed to come up with something, right? Now, consider this. It's a centralized system, right? That centralized system is now going to create something that is decentralized, and that this is now going to help them. Now, I've been a very big advocate of decentralization, and let me explain it in a couple of ways. One, if we look at the world in general, let's look at nature. Look at the plant kingdom, right? It's decentralized. Plants decentralize themselves. Plants will start in an area and they spread outwards. That's abundance. Fish swim in schools, right, for protection. But they also spread out, right, and they split into different schools. Cells divide and break out, but there is an order to this, right? So whenever you make this structure of the pyramid, I'm not against the pyramid structure. Right? It's interesting. When I used to do some yoga poses, I would actually do this kind of a motion. I was bringing my fingers together like this, but in this form, like this, right? And I do that part of my yoga pose, and a lot of people say, why are you doing that? Because it wasn't part of the right positions or that you're thinking. It's just something that I did. Didn't mean anything to do with Illuminati, not at all. Kim being at the top of the structure does not mean that she's the Illuminati. From this negative standpoint, right, of what this is. So we'll recognize that there are purposes to centralization and decentralization. So when we centralize a cryptocurrency, right? I've had this experience inside TPC. It was decentralized to begin with. It was then centralized to overcome an issue, a problem. One of the main issues, the only real rule in the beginning for TPC coin was one thing: honor the daily price, which is set by a formula, not a market, right? Didn't want to be in the market side of things, right? Because the market is so manipulated. If you go to a stock market, it is literally a casino. It's a controlled casino. It's a centralized place. The current centralized locations for market exchange for cryptocurrencies are mimicking that. They're casinos. But there's decentralized efforts coming out of the cryptocurrency to create a decentralized marketplace, right? Much more efficient and no manipulation. Because when you centralize, you can manipulate. You have control, you have power. And so we've seen this happen inside the TBC community because it was centralized. It was brought into one wallet where you could literally punish those that broke the rules. The rule was basically because they would discount the coin, they wouldn't honor the daily price, it was destroying the economy that was trying to be built. So by centralizing, controlling the wallets, it prevented those, or didn't prevent, people could still do it, but there was recourse, right? And so there was a whole elaborate system established for monitoring and all this kind of stuff. Does this sound familiar? Does this sound like what we've been going through in the world, right? Everything is now being controlled. You're monitored, your transactions. So by centralizing, TBC turned into exactly what it was not, what we were trying to get out of. Now, this has gone on for, this actually has prompted me because of the abuse of power that has happened within the TBC community by the admin. They issued policies that were very, very draconian and also discounted the value of the members, which was against the rules. Values of the member, meaning that we had already, he was basically determining if you paid for, you had already had your coin in your wallet. Now you had to pay monthly to keep it, or he'd take it away. Not good. Anyway, we filed a legal system, in the legal system that was there, which was part of Pantera de Oro, to stop it. Right? You know, there was a lot of people complaining. I thought that the policy would go away, but only in the last hours. I was trying to get something else started with this what was called Cloud Token, right? Because I was very excited because this system, it was an ecosystem, right? And they were using cryptocurrency in a way that I was actually designed for another coin, right? In the beginning of the year, I started working to develop another coin for. I won't say who, but let's just say that it was someone who has appeared on this Frontlines or Dank show at one point, and we had discussed some things. I'm not going to bring up who exactly it is, but in discussing this, I came up with a very good model of creating value. So, in moving through this policy in TBC and fighting it in the court of Pantera de Oro's Ecclesia court, the policy was dropped, but not all of it. And the direction TBC is going is very difficult, right? For the way I see it, for it to succeed. And so I've got together with a bunch of leaders, and I discussed, coming up with a new way of moving forward. One that was decentralized, one that was still moving forward on the mission. And the mission was truly to eliminate global poverty. And I've given, the last 4 years working on this one topic for using cryptocurrency for this purpose. So, I've announced about 2 months ago to create a new path forward to honor the same mission, but to get there. And I have a lot of leaders that have joined. My group has grown to over 3,100 people in my Telegram group for this, and from there I've had about 100 leaders that have contacted me and want to help with this new path forward. So I've gone to great extent to develop a system, a new economy that would work and make it happen. Not only that, I looked at all of the issues that have happened with TBC and where the failings were and why there was a lot of issues and really tried to make sure that everything was resolved. There was no cost to join. So even the poor in the poorest countries in the TBC system had to come up with $10, which is not a lot if you're sitting in a Western country. But if you're sitting in Africa or the Philippines or many other places, Papua New Guinea or Fiji, or even now in today in America, you might say that it's hard to come up with $10. But to make it free to join, but to come up with a way in which, just for participating, for doing something, without putting money out of your pocket, you could actually make something out of it. You can have benefit. So I've developed this system, and it's I think marvelous. So I've made also a way of connecting to the existing financial world that we're getting very good feedback from about it. From crypto exchanges that would be able to want to use what we're offering them, right? And I would imagine that this particular coin could become one of the top 10 in the world within a year. It really can. It is, in the synchronicities of things, and when you take your steps forward, you come to a point where it just seems more and more clear that everything you're working towards is now straight in front of you. You're coming out of the clearing. There was a lot of leaves and branches in your way as you're walking the path, and you're going to push them aside. And you come out of the clearing, right? You break through, and you see the golden brick road ahead of you and the Emerald City off on the distance. Please, I don't know if there's any bad references to the golden brick road and the Emerald City, so don't forgive me. It was just a reference. No hidden meanings behind it. So. Except other than abundance. So I do feel that this is to play a critical role in the future, the path that we're all following on. I have made a request for people that would like to participate and help me out in the next steps, because I've done all the design work and some of the setup and web design and all that is all done. The next step, I need to hire a couple of people that are specific type of programmers. I could learn it myself, but it would take me, 3 months or so. I don't want to do that. So anyway, but if you want to help, please contact me, and we'll make up arrangements for what you will get back. Because this is really more, kind of like a crowdfunding type of situation. And there is so many things going on right now that mean, it seems, I literally finished this off and did a demonstration yesterday. And then today, Tank isn't here, and I end up talking about this. I think it's the right time. Right thing, right timing, and very clear the steps. So anyway, I encourage everyone that would like to help me with this to contact me. And I don't think I think even giving you back whatever you give to me to help will come back very quickly, because it's not going to take more than a month for us to basically I can then have all the funds necessary for building a large development team and moving forward after that, because it's already self-funding after that, way of putting it. So let's get into some more interesting things. Kind of went around and really mean to launch into this. I guess just, but see what happens, Tank, when you leave me alone. when talking about these things. So I want to go ahead and share a video with you. Let me go ahead and line this up. All right. This is from Dave Hodges. He put this out yesterday. Push play. Now it's a very short video, less than 4 minutes, and I'm going to start a minute 37 in. The audio is a little bit bad, right? He's coming in and out, but the contents is very important. So let's listen.
Well, this is a real short and sweet report. I just basically wanted to bring you up to date on something that has transpired that I think is critically important. Let me believe it. Nancy Pelosi had a hot mic on ABC's Amy Robach, and she started talking in very graphic about what was coming. Impeachment does not take Donald Trump. We will take it all down. That's what Nancy Pelosi is quoted as saying. This is going.
So let me repeat that because it broke up a little bit. If the impeachment is not successful, they're going to take it all down. I'll go back. Let me put that up again.
And she started talking in very graphic about what was coming. Impeachment does not take Donald Trump. We will take it all down.
If impeachment does not take Donald Trump down, we will take it all down. Okay, I'm going to let it complete now.
That's what Nancy Pelosi is quoted as saying. This is going viral. Oh, gee, Dave. Ooh, that's a conspiracy. No, sorry.
Well, okay, he says it's going viral. I can't find any of it. I scoured, I used a Tor browser, I looked in high and low. I cannot find anything talking about Nancy Pelosi, a hot mic, and anything about they will take it all down, or if impeachment fails. I've searched many different ways. I got nothing. Anyway, sorry, I'll continue again.
It's true. Ladies and gentlemen, it's really true. And what does she mean, take it all down? And then she went after the Republicans. Cut down the lunchroom, the showers, the this, the that. She started saying we're going to go after Republicans. We're going to take care of them right here. And she's talking about Congress denying them privileges that everybody else has, like Democrats. When she says take it all down, did that sound a little bit like telecommunications executives? It's up to 7 days with a renewable. Does that sound like you out? We're going to take it all down. They realize this goes on the verge of collapse. Do you realize most people aren't even watching this crap? Not taking it seriously. It's not even good theater. 50 Shift, his ratings are terrible. His show is going to be. Anyway, Nancy Pelosi confirming the clear warning I gave this morning that if impeachment is not successful, we're going to all down. So far, why? Don't you think? Don't you think people need to know that Speaker of the House is threatening to bring it all down? Here, right? See you back.
Well, that's it. So very short and sweet. I don't know about sweet, actually, probably not so sweet, but definitely worth taking note of. Again, I haven't found anything. I sent the message to Tank and Sid and asked if they've heard anything about this. But maybe there's something there, maybe there's not. You know, this is a very stressed time right now. The QAnon site is down. Right? Can't access it. So it looks like it's going to be coming up and down, up and down. I think this is a battle that's playing out in front of us on the front lines. We see it happening. So we need to be aware of what's going on, and I want to say take action, but keep this in mind. They want there to be violence. They want the excuse to go ahead and stamp it out with the jackbooted thugs. This is a well orchestrated plan that's been taking them decades to put together. It was literally to sell off America, to basically get rid of something that was in their way. Listen, there's been corruption since the very beginning of time. There's always corruption in any government business that gets put together. But around the world, the one government that was actually there, that was set up for freedom and for the people, and yes, there was corruption, but there was always this aspect of checks and balances put into place, and the idea of freedom, of doing the right thing, of honor, integrity, was part of every part of the government. But it's been attacked from within. That's why it's very important to realize it was put there in the Constitution that it is our right to be able to remove those from within that are causing a problem. So how do we do this without violence? How do we do this Gandhi style? How do we do this the way of Martin Luther King? We remain peaceful. Listen, I've got the toxic masculinity that's boiling up, and I get angry and I feel it coming, and I want to lash out, but I don't. It's better to remain calm. Take a deep breath and move past that anger and look at the goal. Remove those that are doing harm. Remove the ones that are doing harm to the whole country and the whole world. This is the time that we need to liberate the world. That's what we need to do. And Trump is way out in front of their leading the charge. So it's good that we're able to do something at this time. We're able to go ahead and make ourselves take some steps to help this. If it means that we march in the streets in a peaceful way, great. That's one way to do it. I do not know, where the march is to start, but maybe it's just a matter of going outside one day, just on the signal. Everyone walk outside your door and look who else walked out in the middle of the street. Maybe it's as good as that, right? And then people see, hey, there's 3 people on my block that walked out. And what happened? You all start heading to City Hall. Maybe there's only one person arrives the first day, but then you tell people what you did. And the next time there's 10 people, and the next time there's 100, and next time there's 1,000. And it is truly a grassroots movement. What do you talk about when you get there? Say, stop poisoning us. Why are you putting fluoride in the water? Why can you please eliminate fluoride from the stores in our neighborhood? Say, we don't want fluoride in the stores, so get rid of all that toothpaste. Wow, is that really so hard to understand? It's like, well, there's everyone, the dental association and everything else. Everyone will be very happy about. Won't be happy if we basically get rid of their favorite toothpaste. And they'll be happy. Problem is there's no selection because of all the other toothpastes that have fluoride. You go down one of these toothpaste aisles, and it's filled with how many different. Sorry, I just saw a cat that's crawling in and out of the little back porch area we have there. Sorry, a little distraction. So yeah, no selection of toothpaste. It's all the same stuff. 50 brands, all exactly the same, except you'll find 2 on the bottom shelf, on the lower left-hand corner. that don't have fluoride. Used to be Tom's, right? But now you find Tom's, you have to make sure it doesn't have aspartame, fluoride. Why? Because they bought it up and they added those ingredients. So, as a hint, I would suggest find your local Indian sweets and spices store and go find a meswick type of toothpaste. It's a tree bark that they turn into. It has antibacterial properties. I used to use it through my 20s. I've been off of fluoride for a long time, unless it slipped in the water and I didn't know it. So yeah, we have a very big effort that has been made, yes, by the white hats and the right plan, right? That's come out of the other plan. Listen, all the people I was working with in the GCR were good people, hearts in the right place, and that was the reason, right? Is to gather all of them together. Gather all the people that could actually make a difference in one way and lock them in with greed, because greed affects everybody, just like anger affects everybody. I mean, I get angry. Is it the best thing? Well, it has a purpose. Anger has a purpose. You have to then act appropriately when it happens. Greed has a purpose, but you can't let it lead you. It gets you to think about things, and you need to have perspective on what you're going to do. Don't let those, the 7 deadly sins lead you. I have bouts with gluttony. Right? So, I love sweets, right? So I feel gluttonous, right? All right. So, but if I led my life that way, I'd be much bigger than I am. Am I overweight? Yeah. But that's mostly because I'm being too sedentary. I'm glad I live on a mountain. I walk up and down it. That's my exercise. I've got 3 levels in the house, and so I walk up and down stairs all day. I get exercise, but still, we are maturing in a lot of ways. We have a lot to save out of our society that we've built of America and freedom. Around the world, people want to go to America because of that same reason. They want freedom. That's what's been the big draw. But we need to have them be free around the world. And we have to recognize that the hydra that has been in place to basically kill off freedom under the disguise of liberation through democracy. Imposing democracy is not freedom. Imposing anything is tyrannical. This is the time that we need to really recognize what we really want, what freedom is, the pursuit of happiness, being able to do it. The founding fathers of America, they wrote the Constitution, Declaration of Independence. They hit on some very good things. They thought about it. Right? The pursuit of happiness. Now, you can't infringe on others along the way. You have to do it with honor and integrity. This is what makes a wonderful, peaceful, abundant-based world. We can't put in systems that purposely are set up to cause conflict. And that's what's happening around the world, even within the government. We just saw Nancy Pelosi within our government, and what Adam Schiff is doing. He denied a point of order as sitting at the head of this this committee, you cannot do that. It is against the rules. What's Robert's rules? Who's Robert? Well, this is the guy that wrote the rules. Named Robert. But this is the system that was put in place a long time ago to have orderly debate within a government or within any organization. Many organizations run with Robert's rules. Because this is what you say, hey, I've got a motion. Well, where'd that come from? That's Robert's rules. I've got a point of order. The chairman has to stop. Oh, there's a point of order. I've got to take care of it. It's my responsibility. What did Adam Schiff do? You're not recognized. He can't do that. So the Democrats are throwing out everything of what makes the government function. Everything they're doing is destroying what is there. Let me give an example. We've talked about this before, but we're going to go back to before was it 1872 when the southern states walked out of Congress. They broke the rules, and when they broke the rules, they broke the country. That's why Abraham Lincoln, out of the law of necessity, had to put in place this corporation to do the functioning of the government, because the government was broken, because they broke the rules, Robert's rules. You have to adjourn. You have to adjourn. You have to basically say, okay, we're going to stop the meeting. We're going to stop this session. Because if you don't stop it, it's still running. And the only way to stop it was to follow the rules. They didn't put in a fail-safe clause that said, hey, in case everyone decides to walk away and they didn't adjourn, it ends within 24 hours. No fail-safe, no way to bring it back in. No way to get it started again. Thus is where the Republic sits in limbo. So what happens when Adam Schiff says, I don't recognize you, and you can't say point of order? It's breaking that system. Now, I don't think it breaks the country per se, but it puts a crack in that particular committee. He should have to resign. Adam Schiff should resign. I believe there's some calls for that. I'm not exactly certain, but as soon as I heard it, I said he can't do that. That's why Jordan was there. Who's going? his leg was shocked. What do you mean? And he said, it's a point of order. You have to stop and take my point of order. You can reject it, but you have to listen. But Adam Schiff's not listening. So this is a sham. A complete sham. So, we're in a very interesting place. It's never happened like this before. We have a time where the whole world can come together. It's never happened where the whole world can come together at one time. Where it wasn't, I'm not saying there's not going to be violence and stuff around the world, but it's not a military campaign of we're going to go in and kill your people and remove them out of the way and we're going to take out your leader. No. The cabal reach that they put in place through their financial system and through their intelligence apparatus and their levers and control systems has in essence put in this structure to squeeze out everything out of the planet as a resource for their own selfish reasons. But in nature, there's always a counterbalance to that, and that's what we're experiencing. We are moving the pendulum to the other side now, from scarcity to abundance. It happens across the board, from every level, from every dimension, from everything. Everything is transforming in front of our eyes. It's an amazing time. Be active, participate, do things towards our goal. That's how we succeed. Do it peacefully, do it without a very big fear, right? Do it without fear, because what is coming is going to try to create fear. They call those false. What do they wave again? Oh yeah, those things. They create these events, these false events. Just to create fear. We don't need to listen to the fear and act by flight. We don't have to see those things and run away. We have to stand resolute in what we're doing and move forward. That's all. Just take the next step forward. And then the next, and then the next. And they keep losing power with every step we take. No matter how they flail, however they react, however they say how many things come out of their mouths that are all about the horrible things and all this stuff and fear, 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 fear. Stand resolute and then take another step forward. Do not live in fear. Live in abundance, live in what we know that we can achieve, because look at where we're at. Look at how they're reacting. They're in total disbelief of being in this position. They can't comprehend it. They know no other way than that they are in control, that the world is going that direction. They can't really see it. That's why they don't change what they're doing. They keep doing the same thing, expecting the same result to happen, right? But we've moved past there. We're way past it. That's why we're even here and we're seeing this unfold. If they had control of the election machinery, do you think they'd worry about trying to take out Trump right now, looking very well? No, they've lost control of it. Look at these small elections that are happening this month. Small, I'm sorry. Small is not appropriate. Governors of states, in these local districts, who's winning? The right side, the Trump side. So we're making so much headway but they're going to act out. But we just have to remain calm. Take one step forward. Whatever fear they send at you, you obviously have to be aware of what's going around in your surroundings. If the fires are going off all around you, there's a reason. Do you have a smart meter on your house? Be careful of a very big spike of electricity that will start at the meter and burn your house down. There are devices you can add to eliminate that problem. It basically takes that spike and sends it to the ground. You just got to ground the system. You can do it cheaply as well as expensively, but you got to sink a spike into the ground and connect it so it'll take that charge away. Put a fire extinguisher next to your panel, right? There's things you can do. If you can't afford to get a new meter, go back to an analog. They probably won't even put one in. Anyway, a little sidetrack, but that's kind of important. My daughter is in California, and this is where they're doing it. They're burning the people out of the rural areas. They're going to claim that this is the reason for the fires is because people are careless. They're going to blame the people and get everyone to leave their homes in these rural areas so they can concentrate the voting apparatus into the city where they have more control. That's why they're doing it. Just for the aspect of control. But they've lost control of these voting apparatuses. It's a very big battle that's going on. So we know that we are winning. We just have to take these steps. And we get there. So don't worry about that. Is Kim going to be successful this week? Maybe. Maybe it's next month. Maybe it's next year. Maybe it's after the next election cycle. I don't think it's that long. But it can be any amount of time. Doesn't matter. It doesn't stop us from acting the way we must. We have to take our steps forward. I think this is a good place to end. It'll be a short show, but that's okay. We can scale it back a little bit. Let's see if there's anything else much going on. I did see that the tank had something going on a little earlier. Oh, you know what? What I'll do? Let's do this. I'm going to go through the chat room. How about that? You have any questions? Go ahead and put it up there. All right. Let me go ahead and pull up the screen there. There we go. I'll go up here. Oh yes, I started off the chat here basically saying good moments, and I basically said where I'm at about this new abundance system that I'm working on, and that I'm looking to raise about 2,000 for programming, and to contact me. But let's go back past that. I kind of already covered this. So Q, BOE, Empire Accounts, High Courts, your opinion and knowledge. Oh, such a loaded question. Oh. Well, M. Carlson. You know, I'm wrestling because there's some significant things that I can say, but I don't want to say certain things right now. Let me say this. Go back in history. You know, some knowledge. Okay, let's go there. The world was consisting of monarchies. The apparatus of governing through democracies, republics, socialism, communism, these are all substrates. These are canvases to build a society on. These are control systems. Some are more free, some are economically based in capitalism, some are based in planned economies. But before that, there was all monarchies. You know, monarchies have been said to be something the best form of government. As long as you have a good king or queen. But even those, everything has, the next king could be bad, right? The descendants, the ones taking over, that could be a problem. So anyway, let me switch cameras here again 1 second, just because I'll go back to the questions, but this will take a little bit more time to discuss. So the monarchies had come together to create a system. You can call it the plan of the experts, the breeding program, whatever other plans that were put into place. What happened during the Industrial Revolution? Now, this is the way I see it, right? This is not really out of a book or out of watching videos, but the way I see it is the industrialists were the new money. Well, in fact, they created money of the fiat system, right? These industrialists came together with the bankers, who already basically supplanted the royal houses throughout Europe and integrated with them. So you had the bankers integrate into the royalty. The industrialists came from America. That's the new money. And they came together and they said, we're going to create a new system. Now, there was, a plan, a nefarious plan in there that was put in there going back in the, probably into the, hundreds of years, that it coalesced in the Khazarian mafia that moved in through the banking world, but their techniques of making duplicates, cloning. Now, they weren't cloning biologically, they were cloning through documents. They would capture people on the roads, going from city to city to do a business deal. They had money with them, they had documents. And instead of just grabbing the gold and running away, they killed the representatives and took over. And they basically made an imposter, a clone, put them into the business situation, and literally started taking over. This was their technique. They came out of it from the standpoint of not out of a Christian ideology, but out of this they were forced to basically adapt because there was Muslims on one side, Christians on the other. They said, you got to choose one, and they chose, we'll be Jewish, right? So, but they really made a whole new religion out of their Luciferian worship, all of these ancient sacrificial type of systems, that their rituals that they had, and they moved it into this Jewish religion, and then moved it into the banking industry, and then moved it into the royal houses around the planet to take over for power. Ultimately, this is what we're dealing with, is this structure that's been put into place. So that's some background. So where are we now? Well, the monarchies still sit. And they are making a comeback. Because they still are there. They are a power structure. The throne was moved to the hands of the bankers, but the power behind the throne was still monarchies and things of that nature, and those systems still exist. So, what was Trump doing when he went to visit with Kim Jong-un, royal family? When we went to Japan and met with the emperor, royal family. What was he doing in Vietnam? Was he meeting royal families there? I don't know for certain, but I do know that there's a bunch of, European royal families meeting with the Emperor of Japan right now, or maybe or just ended, but it's over the last few weeks or so. Is that in the news? No. So when we start talking about, empire accounts, high courts, Bank of England, B of E, what is going on there around the world is that the monarchies are reestablishing their power base. In the next world, we will see the British Empire seem to be just as healthy as it's been, but kind of been in the shadows. They come out in the light. We talk, Fiji is part of the Commonwealth. Special relationship with the Queen, as Tui likes to say. Right? So there is an effort right now to change the existing apparatus that was put in place in there to squeeze out everything out of the world. So we see it happening. Are all the bankers evil? No, they're not. Oh, hello. Someone joined. Ah, Tui. Hey, Tui. No, I don't hear you. Let me switch from this screen back over, or am I? I'm on this one. Let me realign this. Oh, there we are. Tui, where are you?
Hello, Dan.
Ah, there you are. I was just talking about your special relationship to the Queen of England.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you came in on cue. Another synchronicity.
Indeed.
So what's going on? Why did you decide to grace us with your presence here today?
Oh, I just thought I would join in, just to join you and maybe discuss on some matters that might be significant at this point in time.
Yeah.
On the things that are happening.
So
maybe.
But Tui, do you have a cow?
Yes.
Yes, I heard him expressing his sovereignty.
Yeah. there you go.
Yeah, so he's talking to us here.
Yeah, I live in the farm, so I need to change them. So after this, I'll go and change the cows and move them somewhere because they have ropes on. Okay, I'm coming. Take it easy.
Take it easy. You're in Fiji.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's good to be here, Dan. It's good to join you guys again on the front lines, and I just want to say hi to everyone on the show, everyone on the live chat that has been following us, following the change that's happening on the planet. I know it's a blessing and always an honor to be talking with you and discussing things and talking about what is happening on the front lines and everywhere, around the world, and everyone fighting for their own, standing up for their own sovereignty, whatever that may be, politically, in how the economic crisis and how to actually express the sovereignty in those different ways. Because that's all what sovereignty is, and the freedom that it represents, and the freedom from the system that has been enslaving everyone at whatever level, the church level or the religious level, the political level, financial level. All these are levels that everyone on the planet has to deal with to be able to re-evaluate their illusions and create new ones and create the most how would you say it? The most the best the best way of the best system that can we can create to actually help us free ourselves and maintain our spiritual growth as we move forward. Yeah, the synchronicity that's going on right now everywhere on the planet. People on the show, people are following from wherever they are on the planet. The just 2 3 weeks 2 to 3 weeks ago, we started collecting all our the group that I'm here with in Fiji. It's about 10,000 people. We're starting to collect our notification of birth that because we're trying to do a process of reclaiming ourselves because that's what's been happening since the beginning of the banking system. They've tried to take away sovereignty, or they tried to centralize sovereignty so that they can monetize it and then enslave everyone using the trickery system that they've constructed. It's like what you've been talking about through the judiciary systems or the law, the legal system of the planet, and through the political system of the planet, and through the financial and the banking system. So as soon I find out that as soon as we are doing that, as soon as we reach about 10, everything about the trust is coming through, and it's one of the most powerful synchronicity that I've experienced or I've actually seen. That when people understand what has been done to themselves or they've been through, not just them, few generations before them, every time they were born, they were notified, and then they were registered under the Register General. Then they were taken up to the Reserve Bank system, and then the trust was, they bought certificates as bond, and then create money out of it, and then loan the money back into the banks, or give the money back to the bank, and the bank loan it to different countries. And so this system, that Kim has come and actually do away with, and the effects of it is, for last, few months ago, it was not so. It was not what you can. It was not very. It's not that popular. But now it's everywhere. You'll see every almost countries around the world facing the same economic crisis and changing governments, and people want change in their government, and you'll see the prime ministers or whatever, or presidents are resigning because of economic problems that they don't know how they do not know how it's happening in the country, and that's the same thing in Fiji. Right now, the people are calling our prime minister to step down and resign because of and everyone in the government, because the way the economy is in the state of the economy right now. So it's going to happen to every country that's involved with the banking system, because of I was I'd just like to say a Bible verse from just 2 weeks ago. There was one of the beings that I was sleeping in the middle of the night, and I was asking questions. Just within me. I was asking them, hey, where are we up to right now? And I was looking at the book in the Bible, the book of Revelation, and all that. And then early in one morning, I was just how would you call it, in the spirit, and we were talking, and then suddenly there was this preacher standing in front of us preaching, and then he was reading from the book of Revelation, the book in the chapter 16, and the chapter 16 verse 12. And in that, if you understand how the Bible is organized in the same structure of the banking system, you will understand the language that the Bible uses is similar to the law of sea, and how in that verse it says that in the chapter the chapter is all about from verse 1 to verse 12, the chapter is all about the wrath of God, or the cup of the wrath of God. And there were 7 plagues that were coming one after another. And then the chapter, the verse 12 is actually the sixth plague, or the sixth plague. So in the sixth plague, in that Bible verse, it says, the sixth angel brought the wrath of God, the cup of the wrath of God, and poured it into the great river Euphrates, the great river Euphrates. And the great river Euphrates, and it caused the great river Euphrates to dry up. And if you understand how the river and the lava sea and how it's related to Babylon, and how the river Euphrates is the source of the life force of the city of Babylon in olden days, and how the Medo-Persian Empire was able to conquer Babylon by drying up the river, because they could not attack the walls of Babylon because it was very strong. But the only weakness was they had the great river Euphrates that go right across, right in the middle of the city. And so what the leaders of the Medo-Persian army did was they actually dried it up from the source, and it created a way for all the military to just go through the waterway and just go into the city and take over the city of Babylon. And right now, if you see how it relates to what's happening right now on the planet, the Great River Euphrates is the banking system.
Ah, yes.
And what keeps
I see that.
Yeah, and
good. That's
yes.
a good point. Very good point.
Yeah, and so it's just Kim and the group, and what we have done is the source of that liquidity. We have moved it away, even though the banking system is still there. They are unable to do anything with whatever the rate of depletion of liquidity that's happening around the planet right now. And so all the people that is to get source from all these funds that has been taken away. They didn't even understand that the source of the liquidity has been removed, has been stopped. And now they always come up with very very what's called this a very very great design of economic strategy, but ultimately everyone was feeding from the great river Euphrates. And now that the source of the liquidity has been removed, now everyone can see that every country in the world relies on this great river. And then just after a few years after that, the fall of Babylon began. And so I was just asking the angel a few weeks ago, what's happening right now? And so that's what they showed me. We're at the time where the great Euphrates is drying up, and the effects is being felt all over the planet, and people are moving, and not just physically, financially, but also spiritually. The change has been happening within everyone, and everyone can see. And every time there's a big thing that's going to happen, there's going to be a quiet time, and it's going to be really really quiet, and then boom, then the big change will happen. And I see the Tank and Lisa on the country, and that's basically what's happening. They're preparing, and they doing every part of their role that they have to play, that will accumulate to the whole change as a whole. So we as here in Fiji, in the Pacific, we're doing everything that we're supposed to do as our role to set as an example. And so all these things has been known that's going to happen, and because of the sovereignty of what you call the life force of God that is within us, that is part of everything, that is not limited into just now, but also if you look at the time as a very dimension, future, present, and the past. It's all part of it because we are the sovereign entity that we've been waiting for. So I just want to share those thoughts that even right now that we're we might think that we're not part of it, or we don't know what's happening right now, or we are lost, or sometimes we know. I just want to assure everyone that everything is going according to the spiritual energy within us. And like I always say, it's gonna naturally just come. We just have to play our own role when the time comes. And whatever level or whatever dimension you might involve yourself in, it's always great. It's always great to actually express that love the way we have to, and the way that we have that gift to actually express it in that way.
Hey, Tui,
So,
let me ask you a little bit of a side question, because you might have a perspective on this. So, do you know about the Black Knights?
what do you mean in England?
No, not per se. It's worldwide.
Oh yeah.
Different kings that belong to the Black Knights.
Oh yes.
So can you tell me about the Black Knights?
Oh, I'd like to the different. You mean the different monarchs that are involved in in a very secretive
Yes.
control the planet kind of way.
Yes, that's the one. Yes.
Mm.
So I put you on the spot here. So.
Yeah, but it's like how would I say?
Well, I was just alluding to a meeting they just had in this broadcast. I didn't tell anyone that's who was meeting, but I did talk about it.
Oh, they wanted. Did they what? Did they want to meet with you?
No. They are meeting now.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just say it. So they're meeting with the Emperor of Japan, right? So all of these royal monarchs, from Asia, but a lot from Europe, have descended and all come together for these meetings. But they're all part of the Black Knights. So. So anyway, I just wondered if I get some information from you about it.
Yeah, the reaction right now is just to try and solve what's happening on the planet. But we are always here talking about the change, and it's funny they can't, they don't even know it. I know that's one of the things that we have to work on is the awareness of what the trust is, and because this change is so unknown to everyone. And that's one thing that the country, the chiefs in Fiji want to do. We want to let everyone on the planet understand the change, not just not just in the sense that there's not enough work that's been done to actually let everyone know about Kim and how change that she represents, and how and now that we're having all these problems, the monarchs of the planet are trying to not solve it, but to try and at least understand what's going on. And so,
well, I think that they need understanding, but I think they're also taking action. I see that in alignment with Trump, right? The way I see it, is that there is this realignment happening right now, and that's part of this that's going on. You think of Black Knights, you also think of bad things, right? Doesn't necessarily mean bad or good.
Oh, yeah, this is the Black Knights are just basically people just like us. They're just normal people like us. They're just monarchs. They were given the sovereignty of certain ley lines on the planet, especially because of their DNA. They were able to maintain that through time, and they all. You understand, Dan, how they actually come up with that M1 program to actually create the M1 and and they
So
they
all the bloodlines coming together, so all of the ley lines around the planet all in sync.
yes,
Yes.
because that's the only thing that truly exists is the DNA of the people that make it makes everything exist. Time makes history, makes everything. So every single human being on the planet is the creative energy that creates everything that exists. Without the people, the spiritual energy of the planet will be so imbalanced, and that's the reason why the ley lines and the people who control the ley line have to come and work together to be able to heal or to change and create a new reality. And I hope that, I know that they've been sent, everyone has been sent just like us, have been sent yet in this time. And through their birth, they're able to heal their family history, whatever they've done in the past. They're able to do that now
Yeah.
and be able to realign themselves. So, and that's what everyone is doing on the planet. No matter who you are on the planet and whatever you are doing right now, if you're listening in now, your DNA is a long line of thousands and thousands of generations of souls that has been walking on the planet and growing as they die from one generation to another. And you are living in this now, representing them and having the same sovereignty that everyone before you. And what you do now by healing yourself and understanding who you are and regaining your sovereignty, you'll be able to heal all the different expression of yourself that has existed before. And that's however you understand time, whether you understand time linearly or you understand time as a simultaneous existence of now. So, so that's one of the most important things that we are right now, because of the gifts of illusion of all the what we call illusion right now that we are all lost in. Sometimes you forget the power that we all have, and that's the creative energy and the moment now that we have the chance to recreate everything anew in the future. So, once we figure that out, sovereignty is basically just being remembered, and people will be able to, have dominion on their reality. And that's really one of the things that the CC are doing. We've gathered, right now we've gathered our 100 bushels, what you call a bushels, which have, how you have the, what a bushels is then? 100, like a count of 100 of people that the banking system that is required to be a, let's call this, something, yeah, bushels. How you have, how a person, how the spiritual energy of a person has value within the trust.
I don't know how to relate that.
If you ask Tank, we already talked about this a few months ago. Tank will say that there's a spiritual person on the planet has a value on the trust. Like they have their spiritual value.
Right. I know that they contain the energy. Right. That's that's part of what that was all about. The birth certificate, the whole aspect of religion is all towards pulling in this soul, right? To own the soul and to recycle it, right? Keep it back into the same system again.
Yeah. So we must always remember that the trust was designed for that. It was designed. What the trust right now, just because now the team is changing, it was actually designed to be that engine of that slavery system.
Yes.
And so yes, and so there's
a
value.
The engine is broken.
Yes.
Yes.
The good thing now that we have a new M1 that is for humanity.
Yeah.
And has changed the whole entire. Now she's organized and changed the whole entire system and try and replace it. And there's always a value of a person, of a spiritual entity that is in the trust. Every time a person is born on the planet, I call it the the problem that English is my second language. It's quite hard to find the word for it. Yeah, but what you call the morphogenetic field that is in line with what the
Okay.
yeah. So every soul that is born, or every soul that has come into the body, they have a value, whether it's in gold or whether it's in monetary or whether it's in digital currency. It has a value within the trust, and Kim knows this, and that's how the system used to work in the past. And so they were able to they were able to sum up all the assets of the planet from that from using that formula. I know Kim is changing now to be able to make everything free, but that's usually what used to be in the past. So now we have to come up with a new one that everything should be, the system should be created that everything should be free for everyone. So you don't have to go loaning, you don't have to loan for your car or loan for your, just provide the banks will just be a form of liquidity. And then money will be just be maintained as value by love, by the people that value it. So we'll see as the progression goes, because it has to do with different nations and countries. We right now we want to work together with all our native tribes in the Pacific to be able to set up a system and then work with Kim to implement the Kim system through our banks or through the bank that we're going to create. And maybe we can be the first region of the planet to to use that monetary or use that network, the financial network through our banks and through working together. And then maybe we can repurpose the old way of things, whole system, all the different banks that's already been existing in the past, and maybe help them to understand the change and then work together to be able to just to make them be relevant. Because right now, if they continue on the path that they're following and creating that system and creating working out of interest and try to make money out of the people, they will become irrelevant very soon. The liquidity will be stuck, and then they won't be able to. People will lose jobs. Millions of people will lose jobs all over the planet, and we have to try and heal that later on. But we can do that if we choose. I always tell our the people here, there's always two ways: the hard way and the easy way. We can work out the easy way, but then if people if they choose not to listen or not to understand, then we go with the hard way, and always greater wisdoms when you go through the hard way. And so everything is coming very, very, everything is coming together very, I know it's prevalent now. Everything is it's coming together, the healing. We are working so diligently right now to try and set up the banking system as soon as we can, as soon as we get able, and work together. One Australia, New Zealand, the Solomons, Fiji, Hawaii, the native tribes, and we set up our own the jurisdiction, especially to deal with a local or a native a native can I say native what do you call a court, like a court system, a native court system.
Court, okay.
No, a common law.
Well, it could ecclesia court.
Yeah.
A court of ecclesia.
Yeah.
Ecclesia sometimes is referred to in a religious terminology, meaning a gathering of the clergy, right? So but it just means a body, the body. So the court of the body, so, ecclesia.
Something like a native tribunal. That was the tribunal that that we can be independent from the bar system or the bar association that they've all created. That's all that they've all incorporated all the jurisdiction or all the judiciary of the planet to England. Now we can create our own and use a different language for it and don't use English so so
So
we can.
you're only going to speak VT.
Yes.
Uh,
Well, we'll see.
yeah.
No, that's that's the energy of quick change that we're gonna do, because we can we might not follow the old system the way they've done. We will change everything out, and and if we move,
there's a lot of good things in the system, right? So it's good to evaluate. Now, I look at like say, the American court system. The foundation was good, but they've replaced it with something that is not. It's not for the people. They don't go by the jury of your peers. Supposedly, the jury of the peers can do whatever they want, but they've structured it now so they don't. They have to follow the rule books that they give them. Well, this is how you can rule. This is what you're allowed to say or not say. They said, and that's not what a jury is about. The jury is supposed to listen independently, and then make their idea known to the judge, and the judge will then take that and then make the final decision on how to settle, the issue.
yeah. Yeah, so I guess the main thing right now, we have to hopefully Kim and the team in the trust will be free, that we'll be able to sit down and construct the system that we can design, especially the local native tribes around the Pacific can design to shoot us, and work together with her to implement the changes that she wants, that we would be able to, use here in all the different countries of the Pacific very soon. Otherwise, we'll just follow into the footsteps of all these current big countries of the planet that's facing all the economic problems and the political changes and all this turmoil and chaos that's happening right now. We want to avoid that, so we want to do this now and just create a training facility for the people that are involved in the local governments in these different countries in the Pacific, so that they will be able to understand how important this change is and how it's affecting life, reality as we're speaking right now. Because right now they're having, they have no money. If you listen to if someone was able to listen to the parliamentary sitting in these last few days, all they're talking about is money, and there's no money in the country, and they're trying to call the prime minister to resign. Same thing that's happening around the planet because of the economic changes, and same thing that's happening in Europe. It's good that they're in the front line in the US, that Kim is working with Trump, and Trump is doing a great job to make America great again, and give the power to the people. And we're going to do the same thing in the different parts of the planet that we are from. And I think right now in Fiji, we are looking at all the changes and are waiting patiently for that such moment to, if you understand, if you read the Revelation, it goes like that. Revelation 16:12. It says, "A river Euphrates was dried up, and it prepared the path for the king of the east, or for the king of the east."
Who's that?
Yes.
Who's the king of the east?
And that's the movement that we're doing right now. That's the spiritual energy within us.
But who is it? Who is the king of the east?
No, if you look at that in a prophetic kind of way, it's not a literal person. It's the spiritual sovereignty or the sovereignty of everyone on the planet. That's what it's talking about.
So it's more figuratively
yes.
King. I see.
The king of the east is our dominion of this planet. And that's right now money is the dominant, the Great River Euphrates and Babylon, and the king of the east will have to rise from everyone on the planet.
I thought you were going to go that it's the sun rises in the east, so
yeah, it's like I say every time I speak about these prophecies, it's all about the dimension of how you look at it. If you look at it, if you don't understand or if you don't fully understand how it works, you may think it's a person or it's from a certain. If you look at the change as a multidimensional, and it's part of the same thing, And time, the space, the change within us, it's happening at the same time. And that's why we're discussing it right now. I'm here in Fiji from the east, you know. And what we're doing right now is what the King of Age represents as the sovereignty of everyone on the planet, of the original people of the planet, and no longer just a person or a group of people like the way it was before. Oh, it's just Jesus, or it's just or he is the king, or he's the. No, it's no longer it. He's everyone on the planet, and that's what trust represents. That's what they've done, and that's what everyone that's on the show right now represents. Sovereignty within whatever part of the planet you may be, and the return of the divinity within us and the awareness of it. That's and how we create this reality. We are the king of the East. We are the king of the spiritual energy of the planet. So we just have to remove all this illusion, like the great river Euphrates, so that it will give path to us, and we can be able to be realize. We able to think, oh, now there's no more money. What's the? Oh, we are the one creating it, and we can be self-aware, and then we'll be able to create change, and we'll be able to work together to do it. So, hey, keep quiet, take it easy, man. I'm trying to talk here.
he's got something to say.
Yeah, he's just expressing sovereignty. He's a friend, so please I'll try and go and see him. So yeah, then that's just a few words of wisdom, or I just want to impart, just to share a few words with everyone in this now moment. And much love and blessing from Fiji to good thing. Yeah, and the few Latin people too are waiting, and these these people are the one that represent them on the planet. So yeah, the humanity is standing up, and I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful to everyone on the show. Thankful to you, Dan. Thankful to Kim and the team, and everyone that's been helping her out. Helping her. Thankful to Tank and Lisa, and thank you to everyone listening in on the live chat. Thank you so much for being here with us in this moment now, in this great change that's happening. Everything is accelerating, and I hope to see everyone very soon. Our funds, I'll update everyone as soon as the funds are coming in, and we'll have to move and do this. I'm telling the chiefs in the different native tribes around the Pacific that we'll have to physically meet, and then we'll have to go to Kim to physically meet her, because there's so much more that we can discuss when we physically, when we physically, when we physically meet. And that's how it's the most ideal way to retain sovereignty, to be able to recognize each other and recognize the love for each other, and to be there and embrace embrace everyone through the love that we have. So yeah, that's just a little bit of few words from Fiji. Much love and blessing. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Tui, and I really appreciate you coming on. That was wonderful. It's always good to hear from you. I was just, when you came on, I was just starting to answer some questions, so I want to complete that. Maybe you might want to participate.
Okay.
Someone was just asking, well, one, they asked how I was feeling lately, and I'm very well. I feel great. But the next question was, does the Saint Germain and Gesara exist? And so...
You want to answer it?
Well, I don't. The next question also combined that. It said, what does Nasara and Gesara exist, and Saint Germain Trust exist? So on that, I know Nasara was an effort that I was aware of. When it happened, I was aware that it happened at that time in Congress. I heard the whole story. I knew about the history coming from the farmers, and how the court case progressed, and the general that took it up and pushed it through Congress, and the back and forth. So Nasara, there is something to it. Gesara, I think someone just said, well, we need that for the world, and someone just kind of just went with it and said, "Oh yeah, we got one
Oh,
for the
but
world," and they just
yeah,
turned
but
it into a story. I don't know. It's just my
I know
feeling.
then. I know then we've discussed Nesara and the Gesara alignment. We've discussed it already. Sometimes in the future, and in the past, I actually talked about it. That so many people think that this is a Nesara and the Gesara is physical. No, it's actually the spiritual, because we are the source of the value of all the assets of the planet. The revaluation is within us. It's not outside. It's not the goal. It's not the assets of the different countries, or it's the self-realization. And the first thing we just talk about is breaking down the old system first, and then the new system will be able to be implemented.
Yeah.
So the Nesara and the Gesara, basically, those people that were talking about it, they're from the US, and they usually think that the world revolves around the US.
It doesn't?
And
I thought it did.
no,
Oh,
yeah, and
my goodness.
the whole planet is changing.
So-
the whole spiritual alignment is changing. All the new souls that are coming on the planet right now, this is all Gesara and Nasar. It's reevaluating
Yeah.
the love of every spiritual energy on the planet that is growing. The frequency is moving faster, and it's preparing everyone to the new sets of awareness, or the new sets of mindset.
Yeah.
That of abundance that's going to be created. And the Nesara Gesara is not going to come from outside. We are the one that's doing it.
Okay.
And that's what Kim and the people are doing. Might not be the way they actually thought that it's going to happen that way, because they might be, it's just a bunch of farmers in the US, or no, it's actually a reset of the spiritual energy of the planet. It used to be enslaved in the past, but now it recognizes itself as sovereign.
Yeah, I know. I have no doubt that there is a spiritual component to the Nasara part, but I know that there is a physically, manifested group of effort that went ahead, and there was a law. I have the law of Nasara on my computer that was put through the bill in Congress, so I have that. But as for the Gisara, I never saw anything other than someone just appeared one day. It was like the GCR crowd just went with it. Said, "Oh, someone said Gisara. It's for the globe. Okay, it's the GCR." I think that's what happened there. I don't know for certain. As regard to the Saint Germain Trust, Kim says there is no account under the Saint Germain Trust. She doesn't find it. So what does that? But is there a spiritual component to this that is Saint Germain?
Yeah,
I'm sure that there is.
There's been quite a few preparation around the planet of this change. Maybe they're calling it the Saint Germain Trust. It's just now that Kim has has actually combined all the different trusts of the planet for this change, and now that it's just this trust. No matter what the name is, or whatever name that we might put it in, just the global assets of the planet has been accumulated for all these thousands of years, and now it has to be with the change of the spiritual energy, the people will be able to have the mature enough to actually be the Gesara or Nesara or GCR or whatever you might call it, or whatever name you might call it. That's the whole reality that we're gonna all create anew, and that's that's the current economic crisis that's happening right now. It's just a sign of the star. It's how the planet is going into self-realization to be able to be sovereign. And so, transition and all that will come. But we must remember that we are the change. We are the one that's going to implement. We are the one that's going to complete. We can't be talking about it and expect someone else to do it. We have to stand for our own sovereignty, and together we will get all that. We'll reset and create a new system that everyone should be free. Everyone will have what they deserve as a sovereign being, and sons and daughters of the living Creator that's within us.
Yes. Indeed. All right, we
Sorry, next question.
well, okay, next question. I don't think there actually is another question after that. Everyone says that they know everything, so they don't have any questions.
I see.
So that was it.
Well,
No more questions. So, but thank you for coming on. I appreciate that. I was expecting to see you here in the Philippines much sooner.
yes.
But maybe.
Yeah, just like the Gesara and Nesara, it will come, and we have to implement it. And when the time comes, I just hope that everyone will be ready to play their role or to understand what their role is and play to the fullest of their ability and be able to change the whole planet as a whole. I know there's a lot of work to be done. We're just in the beginning of that of that drying up of the river Euphrates. There's quite a lot of work to express sovereignty. A lot of change. And we are so lucky. I'm so blessed that I'm living this time of this great
Yes.
experience of change.
Oh, I think this is a marvelous time to be alive. This is
Indeed.
this is a I think I started the broadcast today really talking about how unique of a time we're in. For all these thousands of years, everything is now about to change, in a very positive way. So
it's not about the change. It's already changing.
yeah,
And,
yeah. We're in the midst of the change, but we can see
yes.
it, in slow motion.
A few months when I was talking, when I was on the show a few months ago, it was not really that prevalent. Right now that we're speaking, right now it's we can see it happening on the planet. The change is happening, and so many people that are not in the known or are in the darkness or are not they're not aware of this change. They're all wondering what's happening. Why used to be all this used to be nice and good and they were the European Union and now how Great Britain is trying to move away from Brexit is trying to be done. The US is actually focusing on the impeachment and everything that's happening with Trump.
I've been calling it faux impeachment, making the fake impeachment. It's not real. It's a faux impeachment.
Yeah, and it's funny that people outside of the US we just we almost like siding with the people that try to impeach Trump because of the way they express because of the media. Because all we hear is, we got to impeach Trump is this, that, and all the negative things about Trump, and they try to hide the good things that he's done. And I was looking up in the news, in the internet, and I could see there's sort of millions of people that support him wherever he goes in his rally and all this. And there comes in thousands and thousands and thousands of people that come to his rally. And I said, whoa. So that means, people outside of the US have been getting a very different picture of what's happening there. and so I guess, we have all our share of the drama of the planet and the different part of the planet that we're from. In Fiji, we have the same thing as well. We have the same change that's happening. People here are very, they're anticipating the change, they're excited. They know that something is coming up. There's no more fund, no matter where the Prime Minister and our Attorney General try and get fund, or they go to IMF, they go to the World Bank, they go to Islamic Development Bank, they try to go to the Vatican Bank, there's no fund. There's no fund. There was some credit that came in a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. That's credit, not fund, just credit. And I know that Kim has already, talked about how she's not allowing any credit or not allowing the banks to continue on the credit system and or the credit way of things that they do, just work on credit and not on the real cash. And so just 100 million, that's not enough. We need about 5 billion to keep our country afloat. And that's that's like a small drop of water in a very big dry land. It's gonna just disappear
Disappear.
within 2 days. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
it'll evaporate before
so,
it hits the ground.
yes, that's it. And it's so
So
funny when.
I
Sorry, is
just,
there any question?
yeah. There's another question. I was just gonna. So
Okay, go ahead.
is America a republic yet? Crickets.
Is America?
Oh, I'm sorry, you didn't get it. Is America a republic yet?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the original setup was in a republic. So I think if we're kind of really talking about has there been a government seated under the republic? That's a good question. Is Trump under the republic, or is he under the USA Inc. only, or both? That's I think the way that answer the question is with that question. I think that he's at least sitting as both the president of both the Republic and the USA Incorporated. The way I see it, I don't have hard evidence about that. It's just something. It's like what I saw. I've been trying to find out what did Trump and the Queen of England sign when he was last there. There's a big ceremony. They showed it on camera, them signing. She signed and he signed. What was it? Nobody can tell me. And that event was hurriedly put together after Trump left meeting with the Emperor of Japan. He went right from Japan directly to England. They threw together this whole ceremony very quickly. That's what I've been told from my friends in England. I said this was unheard of. It's always these things are well planned, way ahead, but this was just put together really quickly, and never in all the other presidents that went to visit with the Queen did they ever have these very elaborate, all the pomp and circumstance events. So what was it signed? That's what I want to know. Was it settling the debt of the Virginia Company's 1600 charter? From the 1600s. Was it? What was it? Was it? Was it? Sovereignty, release of debt? I don't know, but no one can say what it was. I haven't been able to figure it out, and no one in England say they don't know what it was.
It's a funny thing, like if you hear Trump on the United Nations Assembly address that he did, everything that all this were, every word that he spoke there is all about,
sovereignty.
Sovereignty.
Yes.
And not just America as a whole, but also America, individually as people.
Oh yeah, he tore apart the globalists. He said, "No, we are countries." Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone has to basically do the best for their country. Stop this globalism.
Trump is a very smart fellow. Just acting out dumb outside, but very, very strategic. I mean, he's been involved with the business game for quite a long time. And I was just thinking that he's turning America into a global economic, like almost like a bank.
Well, it was funny. He moved. He basically changed his official residence from New York to Florida, right? Because the taxes are so crazy, right? So then they basically criticized him. I think it was Chuck Schumer, and basically said, he said, if you could, there's a song that says, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. And so Trump could not make it, right? So he's trying to say something bad against Trump. But Trump is a billionaire and president while he was in New York. So I think he made it.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Indeed. Yeah, so him talking about sovereignty. Every time if you sign something with the Queen, that has to do with anything. The Queen, you don't deal with anything else. It's if you hear Trump talking about sovereignty, that's what they went and did with the Queen, because he understands the deep the deep connection between the U.S. and England and and also the banking system there and right now, if you can see the way the media presents him outside of the U.S. and the way they can just actually see how he's totally I remember the time that the IMF, when the IMF people tried to justify what the economic crisis on the planet, they were blaming him and China for the dealings and for the trade agreements that's causing them to lose control of the economy of the planet.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like the U.S. is almost becoming the central bank of the planet right now, controlling and balancing economy of the planet.
Yeah.
And it's a very very it's a very very what do you call it?
Yeah.
What's the word in English? When it's unknown, almost like underdog, and then move, and then they're in control. Because nobody knew in the past, if two countries, because that's basically what a bank is. If a country has, because that's what they've been limiting the U.S. because of the economic power that it has. It can control the banks of the planet. It can control the economy of the planet. And now that Trump is doing this, he's not working together with the way it was before. They're trying to suppress power. Now, he's expressing the full potential of the U.S. The government. And now they're working together with Kim. It's a bright future. It's a really good thing that's happening right now.
Well, Tui, Kim has a question for you right now.
What do you mean?
Yeah, Kim. Well, it's Kim Clever. I don't know. It's probably not our Kim, but
yeah.
but it says, well, I don't think it's really a question either. It's more of a statement, but I guess she wants your comment. There's a Tui. Are you aware that the only republic government and national government under the law of United Nations in the Articles of Confederation of 1871 is the United States of America? I don't know what. That's what she put there.
I'm aware. I
You're
know
aware.
what's the point that he's gonna try and make?
I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, Kim, you're not so clever. No.
Well, that's funny.
Well, because I'm stumped also. I don't know what she's trying to say. It's not a question. It's more of a statement.
Maybe
You say, are you
gonna,
aware of this? There's nothing to it. So we need more. So here's another question. Tui, is Australia part of your Pacific Islands? She spelled Australia quite differently. Is
Australia?
Yes.
Part of the Pacific?
It's part of the Pacific Islands. It's part of your Pacific Islands. Yours.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
What do you mean? It's not ours, but it's part of the tribe. The native tribes of the Pacific, the native tribe of Australia are also part of the native tribes of Pacific.
Yes.
Whatever name, or whatever Pacific means. But it's just this region of the planet that we have our tribes that were in the past together, but separated within a few hundreds to thousands of years ago.
Okay. Kim is adding some more to this. Kim Clever. So,
I see.
all right. So it says it's supposed to say that, are you aware of that being the only government in the world that is functioning as a republic and a national government with their own currency, everything that we need. So I guess that's what she's just added to it, saying it's the only functional republic. Yeah, it's the only functional republic, except it's not functioning. There's no one seated. I mean, unless something has changed that I don't know, the people are not seated in the seats of as representatives of the republic. Even though we're voting and people are going to Washington and they're sitting in the building, that's under a management company. They're sitting in the seats as a management company, but are they sitting there as actual representatives of the people? This is this is the problem. Is how do you make that happen? Now, maybe Trump is sitting as the president, and as far as I know, that before Trump, so going back not too long before that, the only official people that had sitting in the Republic seats were the Secretary of the Treasury and the chief of the military, or the head of the I don't know if it's the Joint Chiefs. I guess the head of the Joint Chiefs. I guess something that has because it talks about our armies, right? So whoever is in that position, who's in charge of all of the military, that would be the only other position that is sitting as part of the Republic. So was the president actually sitting there as the head of the Republic in all this time? I don't know. It tends to be not the case from what I've learned. But is it different now with Trump? I've heard that it is, but I don't know. So she's added some more, and it's.
She's blind herself.
Yeah, it's like so all can be free and go on after declaring their residency. Become an American national. Well, I'm afraid that might not be the case, Kim. I'm sorry to tell you that. So, if you are a resident of anything, you are an inventory item.
Yes, that's what we're trying to change.
Yes, so. If you're a resident, you're sitting on the shelf somewhere. You've got your address of your residency. That's where you're sitting on the shelf as inventory. Just look up the words. So that's what the meaning of being a resident is. It's not because you live in a building.
But even that the statement that you said, every government since the 1900s, early 1900s has been part of that big corporation. So whatever illusions that they pretend to create within the republic or whatever political system that they designed for you, these are all just they're just facade and illusion for everyone just to get lost in and become more imprisoned and more slave into the system that they don't even know that they are slaves in or that they are imprisoned in. So, and that's been introduced to every country of the planet, and now we're trying to change that. Right. It doesn't matter what history or whatever. Everyone has been registered. Everyone has been everyone
registered to the crown. So the whole system, UCC and everything, the words are landmines. You don't know when you step on a word. So you step on the word residency and it blows up. You step on, so you don't know. So having our own language is a part of necessity. That's why I made a suggestion that we just, like we do in Pig Latin, but change it a little bit. We just say we drop the first letter of a word and then we double the second letter, and then those are our new words. So instead of residency, right? So we drop the R and we double E. So we have edidency. So now you have your edidency, and now that means what we think. Then we know what it means.
You can just use the Native American language to create a new entire structure. And
but I won't understand that. I won't understand that. See, that's why I said if we go with something very easy, so just dropping the first letter and doubling the second, we still now know in our head what residency means to us. Now if we just easily say, well, we really mean edidency. Edidency, right? So then everyone doesn't have to learn a whole new language, because we'll leave so many people behind if we come up with all these new languages. We'll be just like the Tower of Babel all over again. Everyone's now we're just coming together under one language now, and now it's gonna be broken up again. No, we gotta kind of like bring everyone together.
It's quite an amazing time that we're living in, Dan.
Yes.
And I'm
Well,
very thankful
Kim,
that.
Kim is also continuing. I'm sorry to interrupt, but Kim is still
Oh,
adding.
yeah, go
Let
ahead.
me just say, Kim, I suggest that you actually come on a broadcast and we can talk about it, right? It's okay to just have a discussion and figure out things. I'll listen to everything. Maybe, Tui, you want to come back. This is Tuesday. You know, we can do Tui Tuesdays. Every Tuesday you can come here and we can do a Q&A, right? And we can do that and then have people join in with an open link, so let's try that, and we'll see where we go from there.
What did you say there?
Say again?
What did Kim say in the next statement?
She says, if it is functional, it's been functioning alongside the U.S. corporation for almost 10 years, actually. It's been helping the United States company. Maybe. That sounds right. Okay. I can't say no. I don't know any difference, but our votes don't count. They never have, because it's for a company. The Senate is responsible for the votes. They just do the electoral votes for us to feel good. Well, I think you're correct, but it's not just about feeling good. It's also to keep people controlled. So if 99% of everyone votes for Trump, and then the Democrat wins in the next election, they're not controlling everyone, right? Everyone's going to be very upset. They're going to rise up. That's against their rules. So there is a point of voting, and that's the point. All right. Okay. So she said she wants to have a whole conversation. So we're continuing here. She says, it is true. We are considered stateless, being right now the resident aliens. You have no rights. The Constitution doesn't even apply, as they're functioning under a Constitution of 1789. All right. Have you or anyone here ever taken an oath of affirmation to the state of your country? If not, you're a stateless being, but subject to all laws that go along with that company. I said the Declaration of Residency, which brings your trafficked person back from the U.S. Virgin Islands, Somalia, Puerto Rico, etc. So yeah, I've heard these arguments about being an American national from a decade ago. All right. I have people I trust say, "Oh, it's the wrong way to go," right? So I don't know. I don't know which is the right way or the wrong way. I do know that I've researched the word resident, and I don't want to be a resident as an item sitting on the shelf anywhere. So as soon as when we start talking about words mean something, if you start combining good ideas with bad words, you've just poisoned the good idea. So it's very difficult to walk this line of which word is a landmine that's going to blow up on you. So it's best not to put any of the landmines in your field.
That's one thing that we discussed about. Thank you so much, Kim, for bringing that point up. Fiji, we have in Fiji we have a totally different structure. Like I said, we have what you call the Book of Life, that everyone's name is written in, especially the native tribes, and it connects everyone into the land. And so, no matter how they actually monetize the birth certificate or how they register everyone in the system, we still have the physical connection to the land that is not just represented on paper, but we live in these lands and we own it. And the government own only 5% of the land in our country, and the people here, we own 95% of the land. So that's when the government tries to do a development, or they have to ask for permission from the landowner or from the native tribes, and they will have to ask, and they will have to go through with the traditional ceremony, and then they will be able to give a power to the native trust or the native land trust that we have already formed. Then we have discussion and this was done because of how our ancestors actually understood the system that these people were bringing, and it was done to protect our generation from the trickery. And so if you come to Fiji, everyone is still living on the land, and everyone is still sovereign in the different land. The government is trying to creep in slowly, but they still don't have that control, and which makes them so reliant into the banking system of the planet. And then
Right.
the native tribes here, if our currency collapse or if our economy collapse, we don't have any problem. We already have food and we have everything on the land that we live in. We have water. We can live just fine. It's just the people that are living in the rural areas or in the urban areas that will be mostly affected. And the people that are so used to the system that has been introduced.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have what you call the law of the land in Fiji, and we want to do that, and we want to make that the what's called this the only sovereign kingdom that can exist, and no longer use the democratic system or whatever, or the republican system that been introduced by the banking system for just another way of controlling and I call it assets collecting system that they've tried to implement all over the planet, so that they can they have the power to, or they have the ownership to the land and the mineral resources and the mineral the in-ground assets of the planet. And over here, they can't do that. In Fiji, it's
Right.
totally different. And so, yeah, it's like I said, we are living in a very interesting time of change. There's so many things to understand, and then try and get wisdom, and then try and create a new way of thinking, new way of looking at things, and new way to actually free everyone. And I know wherever we are on the planet, we understand our systems better than anyone, and it is our role to work together within those communities, within those districts, within those governments, to heal your own district or to heal your own nation. And this is going to be a collective effort, and it's not going to be done just for one person or just a nation itself on the planet, but everyone on every nation of the planet will have to go through this same transition. And I'm blessed and I'm thankful to everyone that is here with us and share the same ideas and the same knowledge and understanding of how this new change has to come into place. And I'm thankful to everyone here, and I thank to Dan, thank you everyone, thank you Kim for the comment, and thank you for the sharing the wisdom. And I think thank you everyone, thank you Kim for the new banking system. And thank you so much, you guys in the live chat, and you guys listening in the future as well. Much love and blessing from Fiji. Yes, take it easy.
Yeah, thanks.
Peace.
All right, thanks, Stewie. And I would encourage Kim Clever to please contact me, and we'll discuss it. Call me on Telegram. My Telegram ID is in the description. It's just my name with a capital D, capital L, one word, all together. And then I'm happy to talk about this with you and figure out where things lie, because it's all very complicated, and the goalposts keep moving as well. So.
Hey Dan, sorry.
Yes.
Kim, there's a question that Kim asked. What is the last?
What's your opinion about postmaster generals?
Mine.
Yeah, yours are mine.
Oh, yours then on Postmaster Generals. Well, uh, we have to create a new one to actually look after uh, the new system of the monetary system that we have right now, and
Oh yeah.
how to how to look after and balance the economy of all the different nations. Because that's this is the reason why I'd like to always repurpose the old
Yeah.
system
Yeah.
and use
I'm
and
not.
just repurpose it in what.
Yeah, I'm not too well schooled on this postmaster generals. I do understand that there is a position and why they actually, you can get like money orders, to pay off things, and it's real money. Everything else is not. So,
Yeah, the
and
postmaster
it comes
general
from
is
the postmaster general, but I don't really understand that whole piece of it, a piece of the puzzle. What I know is that there's so many pieces of the puzzle that they've changed, and the education that is out there, or the people are out there saying one thing, we all go down one road, and oh no, it's the wrong way, I'll go over this way. So that's why I said, listen, we stop with their madness. They won that game of Monopoly. Time to start our new game of abundance. Let's move forward.
yeah, the postmaster general is one of the most important um, important part of like I said, it's going to be a topic for new. I was telling the chiefs last week that maybe we can have a new postmaster general in Fiji, and we put his face on our dollar, and he'll be in charge on all the different countries of the planet, and how the whole economy of the globe can be balanced. Because this is taken care of by the central banks or the Federal Reserve system.
Yeah.
And now that we're going to have to done away with it, we have to create all this, maybe create it anew or maybe repurpose the old system. We have to choose. But I always say that it's better to be free and get everything free for everyone and get everything transparent. And maybe we'll have to discuss this with every stakeholders, with King, with everyone on the old system, the United Nations and all that, and the new state of the new kingdoms that has to be formed right now. And we'll have to have a sit down talk to try and heal our planet. And yeah, I'm always looking forward to that time. But and always hoping that will happen very very soon. And maybe that's one of the reasons why the Black Knights are gathering and talking to try and heal ourselves, because we're not hurting anyone, we're just hurting ourselves by all these things that we've been doing to ourselves. All we have to do is try and realize our true potential and heal whatever has been implemented in the past, and create a new if we have to. I guess
Okay.
that's. Mm.
Okay. All right. Well, let's wind it down now. We'll continue on Tuesday with Tui Tuesdays, or we'll be back tomorrow as well. You're welcome to join tomorrow as well, Tui. But otherwise, let's wind down because we've been already on for over 2 hours.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Thank you very much, Dan.
Okay. All right, and
Everyone
thank you,
on the
Kim,
line
for
side and everyone listening, please, much love and blessing from Fiji. Take it easy. Peace.
Yeah. Much love and blessings from the Philippines and the rest of the world. Bye bye. Yeah. Yeah.